Namaskar and thanks for your company here on our weekly program on geoeconomics. Today we look at the consistent rise in gold prices that in India seem to be keeping pace with the Sensex, hitting new uncharted highs at regular intervals. What is behind this surge in gold prices? Is this precious metal really worth the money and stability that people and economies associate it with? So that's what we're going to be dwelling on with two guests. Let me introduce you to them. Professor N.R. Bhanumurthy is a senior economist. He's the Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, Base University in Bengaluru. And Dr. Chetan Kumar Mehta is National Vice President of the Indian Bullion and Jwellers Association. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. Professor Bhanumurthy, why are emerging markets increasing their gold reserves?
Many factors for this. First of all, I think if you look at the global economy level, I think this time around, emerging market economies are doing much better than the advanced countries. And I think the risk seems to be much more in the advanced country right now. And added to that, if you look at the kind of tension that's happening in the regions where the two wars are happening, it actually turned out to be that the gold is something like a safe haven. And going forward, I think emerging market economies are also actually in the game of what we call it as de-dollarization. I think the game has already started, and that seems to be one of the reasons why the central banks trying to increase their reserves in the form of gold. And in fact, all the emerging market economies have done this time. Right. But added to that, I think the advanced countries have really messed up their economies, especially during the COVID and the post-COVID macro policies. And I think that seems to be the reasons why emerging market economies seem to be shifting from the gold to from dollar to gold.
Dr. Mehta, what does this imply? Is there a conscious shift being made, as Dr. Bhanumurthy has been saying, to move away in dollars? But how does it impact a person like you who deals with gold jewelry? Dr. Mehta, can you hear me?
Yeah, your voice was breaking. Can you come back again,
I was just saying, how does this rise actually affect a person like you who deals with gold jewelry?
I'm unable to hear you.
How does it affect you who deal with gold jewelry? How does this affect you personally? Okay, we seem to have a problem with Dr. Mehta, but Professor Bhanumurthy, I'll come back to you. I mean, you did mention that there seems to be a shift in terms of the shift away from dollars. What is the ideal amount of gold reserves that central banks should be having? With economies growing, is it even feasible to find so much yellow metal?
No, I think it is a dynamic process. I mean, first of all, one should understand what is the level of optimal reserves each country would like to hold. And then comes within that reserves, how much is the optimal level of gold reserve that one would like to have. I think that is completely different analysis. I think that depends on many macro parameters. But I think what happened in the past couple of years, just to add to my previous comment, is that there is also increasing trade in terms of the local currencies, right? Rupee trade has actually taken in a big way with some of the friendly neighbors. So in a way, there seems to be some shift from dollar to gold. And I just also want to add, Mark, just now I just saw the news item that there is a sharp dip in the gold prices in the world market because there was so much of expectation that the US inflation will come down. But I think today's data is saying that US inflation actually gone up. So I think there's sudden knee-jerk reaction that we have seen just now in the gold market, in the international market. So in a way, what I'm trying to tell you that advanced countries have actually piling up their own debt. I think going forward, the market seems
I can hear you.
Increasing debt will actually have huge risk on their own economies. and particularly on the US dollar. So I think that's one reason.
So there is a
why the
correction
central
you're
bank-
saying that is taking place. Let's go back to Dr. Mehta. I asked you a question, Dr. Mehta, how this impacts a person like you who deals with jewelry.
To be very frank, see, it's as we know, Indian household are very happy as we have 25,000 tons of household gold. As of now, they have more spending power. Only affected are new buyers and new generation. So I see this is because of geopolitical tensions between Iran and Israel, and I'm sure after Ramzan, Iran may take some step. Countries are losing faith in dollars, hence central banks are buying gold.
Yes.
And now today you can see the latest thing is the Shanghai Future Exchange have imposed transaction limit on gold and copper. So futures to control recent trading prices risks. The daily opening position limit has been set to 2,800 lot for
Okay.
gold and 2,000 lot for copper. So I'm
Okay.
sure because of that around $100 to $120 gold will come down.
Right.
But our jewelry market is suffering as a retailers. We are suffering because the prices are fluctuating and the market is up and down. But I can
Okay.
see the future of gold is more at a higher price.
Yes, also Dr. Mehta, countries like Russia, the US, Australia, some parts of Africa also, they are likely to benefit because they are producers of gold. But can gold be sourced, from countries with differential pricing? Because, I mean, India needs so much gold. We consume so much gold in the households.
Yes, yes, we can do that. There's a good option what you are talking is, but I think now as of India is around, I think they are importing 800 ton per annum. We are making it, and I think because of I think a few days the prices will be settled down. I can see a good correction would come very soon. I think that would be a great time for buying the gold.
Okay, Professor Bhanumurthy, the Russia-Ukraine war, sanctions and all that, the geopolitical tensions, they've been part of the reason why gold prices were spiking. But has this actually helped Russia? After all, Russia is one of the largest producers of gold.
Well, I think the way they had benefited during, the
Even
last
oil.
crisis, oil. So I think they do have their own issues, and you are right. I think oil and gold are not very different commodities for Russia. So I think that's one of the reasons why the emerging market economies, maybe like the way Russia has offered premiums to emerging market economies when it comes to oil. I think there may be something which we may not be know. Even in the gold, they may be having some, better pricing for emerging market economies. In fact, just to add to the previous comment, there is another negative news today because I think the Fitch, one of the rating agencies, have actually downgraded China. I'm told in the morning. So I think even that seems to be playing out in the correction that we are just seeing in the international market. Added to that, the inflation of United States. So I think there are some corrections seems to be happening. Maybe Dr. Mehta should be happy with that correction.
Right. So, I mean, well, the correction is probably long overdue, but we're talking about a general trend in any case of rising for the last 12 months. But Dr. Mehta, what are the alternatives to gold, would you say? We are living in the digital age. You did talk a little earlier about people moving away from the dollar. Are there digital alternatives, Can a world recognize cryptocurrency, for instance, emerge? What do you think? I mean, I know that you're part of the jewelry market, but you can probably think there may be, you seem to be quite invested, or you seem to follow the markets very well.
I think no investment can be better than the gold. If I am a gold person, I would talk only about that. But I can see the returns what gold have given. You can see the journey of the gold. What gold returns have given. That is, it's a very ultimate from now. And we can see in 1 year, we have got 30-35% of growth. I think this is going to stay forever. And digital gold, we have seen, but we have not seen it's a larger success, digital gold, because I think there is jewelry is a one emotional. India connects to the emotional thing. I don't see this as like we don't see as a paper, or we don't see as a trade. We see as a emotions. So I think jewelry is more gold. Gold is connected to the emotions of our country, our Indians. So I think gold investment, I see lively investment is more better than any other investment. That's what I feel.
Okay, so you will believe that gold is the choice. But Professor Bhanumurthy, Canada, since we're talking about keeping gold as a reserve against your currency, Canada is a large economy with no gold reserves. And the Bank of Canada believed that when it moved on this path, that the cost and storage and transport and all this stuff of large amounts of gold is not worth the benefits, and it preferred more liquid reserves. What is wrong with this approach in this day and age?
Well, I think their relation with the United States is the major factor. Okay, and the proximity with the United States major factor, and also the countries with which they run the trade surpluses are major factors. So when it comes to other countries, I think we have, for example, we have a trade partnership with not just limited to United States. I think we have partnership with China and of course European Union. So in a way, ours is slightly diversified compared to Canadian economy. Okay, so I don't think we need to compare our reserve requirement or the composition of reserve requirement with the Canada's requirement. Having said that, I just again wanted to add one more. One should not really look gold prices as an independent market. If you look at, we believe that there is a financial market integration, and I think if you look at the stock market or the gold market or any other, even there is also rise in the world oil prices. So I think if you look at the commodity markets as well as financial markets, they are definitely integrated, and I think there is a generally in fact, I mean, I don't want to add so much about Indian financial market. I think for the past 2-3 months, you have seen how much the stock market prices have gone up. So I think it is consistent with the kind of trends that we see in the global commodity markets.
Indeed. Dr. Mehta, how best to take advantage of a market like this? If I am an investor, what kind of advice would you give? And also, I mean, are there other precious metals that are also likely to rise so you can diversify? Dr. Bhanumurthy is talking about a diversification of different kind, but as an individual investor, how would one look at a diversification at a time like this?
To be very frank, all the metals, like you can see platinum, you can see other like gold, silver, you can see the rise of silver, how much we have got. The prices are increasing, and gold, I think I can tell you very frankly, gold is always given. Let's be very optimistic when I'm talking on this, because the gold always, I think little every price, if you buy little, I can give you the total investment of yours gold, what you have invested, it is going to come back in the return in a big way. We can see this inflation, and we can see this market is very bullish now because of the geopolitical tensions, and we can see overall disposable income of every family increase with their higher gold value. Thus, this can lead to higher purchasing power of their items, which can lead to rise in inflation, no doubt with that. But what I believe is you can buy a little quantity wise. You can assemble all together. And when I talk about that, I can talk about only gold and silver, because silver is also given a high now. We can see around 86, 87 is going. The price is very high. Gold also is increasing. So I would just suggest everyone should invest in gold and silver little, because it's precious. It's one more thing is, whenever you want, you can make a jewelry of that. You can enjoy that. Again, you can retain the making charges of that. And again, you can invest, and again, you get the money. So because as being a jeweler and a dealer, I would talk about this generic thing, that this is the good investment for our country people.
Right. Professor Bhanumurthy, platinum and diamonds, they were over the years, they were more valuable than gold. But the surge in gold prices may have changed that per ounce. And also now diamonds, of course, can be artificially created. Does gold have any downsides, in terms of stability in the long term as an investment by a central bank?
No, I don't have much experience in dealing with these markets. I'm
talking about from the central bank point of view.
Yeah, I think central banks, again, I mean, let us assume that whatever central bank is doing is actually right, because they have much better information than any one of us has. So I think that's what my general opinion about what central bank is doing. But I think just to add to again what Dr. Mehta has said, see, if you are really holding on the long, I mean, for any commodity, I go back to my hypothesis that there is a financial market integration or commodity market integration, given that in the long run, all the price have to move together. There's no much option have left. So it doesn't matter which commodity, but you should hold on for the long term. I think that is my the way I understand the financial market.
Dr. Bhanumurthy, also I had asked Dr. Mehta earlier about whether there could be any alternative in terms of reserves. I mean, currencies are probably unstable currently, so people are moving away from the dollar. But what about digital? I mean, we are in the digital age. Would you think that there could be, I mean, could cryptocurrency, some form of accepted cryptocurrency around the world, could be considered as a recognized reserve?
No, I think the judgment is already there on the crypto market. I mean, those who you want to understand a little more, you have to talk to people who actually invested and burned their fingers. So I think generally, in my view, that the crypto markets are largely, not really transparent and not really, regulated. So I think that is one thing that I keep telling to youngsters. You need to understand your asset much more than what what you understand other things. So I think given that it's very difficult for you to understand how these crypto markets function. And in fact, Reserve Bank of India very clearly mentioned that it was actually cautioned investors before you go for investments in the crypto market. So as I said, I simply go with what the Reserve Bank of India is saying. So be cautious when it comes to crypto market.
Okay, Dr. Mehta, Indian women have created, a consciousness about family stability for gold. How do these prices affect Indian households in the short term as well as in the long term?
I think whoever buy the gold before a year, they're all, you can see the jump, they can see 100% there is a jump from 5 years, 10 years to now. So prices have been increased. As I told you, when the prices are increased, the value is increased and they have a spending power more. But now I feel it's a short term game. I don't see the prices go hike very. It'll go and I think prices will be stable very soon because we can see some geopolitical tensions are there. But the best part is whoever invested in the gold from initial stage, a household, because Indians we have a mentality that it's an asset and we feel that it's an asset and whenever we want money we can sell a gold and take it. So now I can tell you they will have a more spending power because they will get a much good value and they will have a good, and coming to buying the gold also it will be very good. It will impact because for retailers there will be less of business because the gold prices are very increased, the quantity sale will be very less. So for new generation and new people it will be tough to buy the gold in the quantity, but whoever already reserved, as I told you, 25,000 tons are holded in the houses, so it's a huge number. So I think so people, I think Indian people all understood that gold is only the asset. So they have invested and they are happy with that. And for the new people, it will be a tough task because until the stability doesn't come, people don't want to invest. But I can tell you, keep on investing little and little. I'm sure at the end, we are going to have a good total gain package.
Right. But Dr. Mehta, so, I mean, the question is, where is the gold coming from? I mean, you can't be mining forever. At the end of the day, there's a finite amount, one would think. So, is this gold that is basically circulating because of resale? What is the kind of value that is coming out of resales? Are people actually selling their gold at a point of time? I mean, for instance, a jeweler like you, would somebody come back and sell their jewelry back to you? That doesn't happen, isn't it?
Yes, I can tell you there is nobody is going to sell, but this can be remanufactured. That is the best of the gold. You can make a new design. So people are doing it that because if I have a 50-year-old, 100-year-old, my grandma some jewelry, I can dismantle, I can make a new jewelry. So jewelry is coming into circulation and people may not sell, but because it's an emergency, when you need a money that does happen, but I think only 1 or 2% be sold. But I think this is a good shift. It has happened. People are exchanging old jewelry to new jewelry. They are giving it for remanufacturing. So India has a huge gold. So they are doing it. Then also the demand is high. As I told you, around 800 tons we are importing. As you told, it's a mining. So I think India have enough gold to rotate once or twice every year.
So India has enough gold reserves which are circulating. Professor Bhanumurthy, You know, I mean, it's a weird thing, because alchemists have continued to try to create gold out of other metals for ages. I mean, we've heard stories about that. Nature, of course, must have done that to start with, because, I mean, how did the gold come into existence? But, you know, some have apparently succeeded using mercury in a nuclear reactor. Now, I mean, if in the course of time, gold technology is developed where you can actually create laboratory gold, like you can create laboratory diamonds right now, what's going to happen to the price of gold?
No, it all depends on the technology. Right now, I think the kind of technology, the way I understand, is that I think a little more costlier than, you know, going for the real mined gold. So I think the price would be the factor which can definitely stabilize this both demand supply mismatch. I'm not really sure you would see that kind of demand for laboratory generated kind of a diamond compared to the real diamond, right? I think real is real, and I think lab one is lab one. So,
but that's going to be different with gold after all. I mean, you won't probably know the difference. I mean, how would you know? I mean, it's a metal after all.
No, I don't think so. And I think when it comes to investments, I mean, if you think that it's an investment item, so then I think certainly there would be better, identification compared to other commodities. So I'm sure the investors will be a little more cautious when it comes to investing in laboratory generated gold.
I mean, if that ever happens. But Dr. Mehta, how does one actually identify, I mean, a person who is buying gold? Of course, they go to trusted jewelers, but how will they know whether they are actually getting real gold?
Can you repeat the question?
No, I'm asking you, how does one identify whether they actually have real gold that they bought? I mean, is there something like it's non-magnetic, or, you know, some tests that one can actually do which makes it feel that they've actually got real gold, and that to the carat level of gold also changes, isn't it?
I think now we have a sufficient equipments in our country. We have a hallmarking centers. We have a great machineries. We have a testing centers where you can 100% now it's become a very transparent. When the hallmarkings introduced in our country, gold has become more transparent. We can give to any of the laboratory and we can check what all is there in that gold, how many purities there, what purity it is, 18, 14, 22, 24. So we have a clarity on that now.
Okay.
So now I think we have a lot of technology to go on. Now there is nothing like you can fool anyone by telling this carat of gold, this is that. It's very clear. We have a very transparency when it comes to the gold purity. So we have a lot of technology to find out. We have a laboratories, we have a government hallmarking centers.
Okay, we leave it there. Thank you very much, Professor N.R. Bhanumurthy, Senior Economist at Base University in Bengaluru, and Dr. Chetan Kumar Mehta, National Vice President of the Indian Bullion and Jewellers Association. Thank you for telling us more, enlightening us about the gold rush. So in conclusion, let's just say this, that, you know, the US, despite getting rid of quite a lot of its gold, it still has the highest gold reserves in the world at about 8,100 plus tons. Germany has the second highest reserves of about 3,300 tons. Other countries in Europe, Italy and France also account for nearly 5,000 tons of gold between them. And Russia too has around 2,300 plus tons. China has about 2,191 tons. Now, India ranks 9th with around 801 tons of gold reserves. And this gold rush may have a meaning in terms of reviving a gold standard. But for how long can economies look to back themselves by gold in a digital age with several other options is a relevant question at this current time. Thanks very much for watching. Namaskar.